Right, to brothers and sisters, welcome back to Haiku. I do, and you know it's about good hip hop music, man. Now, in today's video, I'm checking out a song by Priddy Ugly called 30 Minutes to Soweto, and it's the lead single from an EP that he dropped 2 weeks back. And the song is produced by one of my favorite producers, who is Shura Coombs. So, yeah, without wasting any more time, man, let's get straight into this video here. Now, for some bit of context for those who might not be aware, this is called Act 2 because Act 1 is taken from one of Priddy Ugly's previous songs called Por. So the video for that song was shot in Alexandra, and at the end of that video, they leave from Alex to Soweto. Now, to leave from Alex to Soweto, you have to pass through Joburg, and that's where Act 1 of that video ends. And since this one is Act 2, it starts in Joburg to Soweto because Joburg is 30 minutes from Soweto, and I think that's where the title of the song comes into the picture.
Meadowlands, 2 birch acres. Kempton to Soweto, had some neighbors right next door that never stepped into the ghetto. The rato passed away before she stepped into stilettos. Most machitas are Pinocchio that never make your pedo.
Now, he kicks off the verse by saying, Meadowlands to Birch Acres, Kempton to Soweto. Now, Meadowlands is in Soweto, the same way that Birch Acres is in Kempton Park, right? Now, I used to stay in Tembisa, and Tembisa is literally like 5 to 10 minutes walk away from Birch Acres. But Birch Acres is like a demarcated area. So to drive from there to Tembisa, it literally takes you like a whole hour, but it's closer when you're walking. And the thing is because, you know, Birch Acres is a suburb in Kempton Park, so they needed to demarcate the area, you know, during those past times. Now, I actually had a girlfriend in Birch Acres, and she had never been to Tembisa, and she never wanted to come with me because her parents had told her that, you know, Tembisa is the ghetto and it's dangerous. And, you know, so I could never brag to my friends that I was actually dating, you know, a girl who was considered a coconut at the time, you know. So I understand when he says, you know, Meadowlands to Birch Acres, Kempton to Soweto, knew some neighbors next door that had never stepped into the ghetto. We do have like people like that. Even here in Soweto, there's people who are like in their late 20s, early 30s, who've literally never been to Joburg, and it's like 30 minutes drive to there, you know. So it all has to do with, you know, the whole Land Act and how, you know, certain areas were separated and, you know, apartheid stuff, basically. And then he says, Lerato passed away before she stepped into stilettos, and Lerato is, you know, Priddy Ugly's ex-girlfriend who passed away. If you want to know more about her, there's a song by Priddy Ugly called Ambition, where he talks, you know, briefly about Lerato there. And then he says, most machitas are Pinocchios that have never met Geppetto, because Geppetto is the old man who carved Pinocchio out of wood, and he used to control him using strings. I think it's called a marionette, like when you're controlling a puppet using strings. So I think there he's just trying to symbolize that, you know, most guys in the townships who, you know, okay, we know Pinocchio used to lie, and every time he would lie, his nose would grow bigger. You know, most machitas are like Pinocchios. They lie because they've never met their Geppettos, which is their fathers, type of a thing, you know.
Kempton to Soweto, had some neighbors right next door that never stepped into the ghetto. The rato passed away before she stepped into stilettos. Most machitas are Pinocchio that never met your pedo. Most of our fathers were the type to beat our mothers, so our mothers wore face beat just to keep her undercover. And deep beneath the covers, there were heaps of secret lovers. Love we need to rediscover just to teach it to each other. Many, many nights my mother cried us out to sleep. She never got the flowers for the times that she would weep, but black and blue eyes were the prize that she received. So my mother looked to God for the guidance she would seek. My disculpa, my granny.
My disculpa. Now, he kicks off by saying that most of our fathers were the types to beat our mothers. So our mothers wore a face bead just to keep it undercover, which is a a play on the word face bead, because a face bead is like makeup, right? So it's a nice play there. Yeah, we're the type to beat our mothers. And then he says that, deep beneath the covers, there were like heaps of secret lovers. So love is something that we really need to rediscover. So he's basically airing his mother and father's dirty laundry here, talking about how many nights she would cry herself to sleep, and she never received flowers for all those nights that she would weep. But she was actually a religious woman, so she would pray to God, for all the guidance that she needs to deal with the situations that she was going through. And then after he says that, he says, "My desculpa," which is Portuguese for "I'm sorry, mama." So I don't know whether he's apologizing on his father's behalf, or he's just, as a child who saw a mother go through all of this, to say, "I'm sorry for everything that you had to go through after everything, with the domestic abuse and the cheating with the heaps of secret lovers and all that type of vibe,
For the guidance she would seek. My discopa, my granny told us pray kalekopa, tsoga ba di mo bao tsosa, di poko tsao di ska o tshosa.
Most of them were they get tired of praying, I guess, because babatla dintho tsa bone di etsagala instantly. But with God it's not like that. I guess if it's the plan of God, you can pray to do it today, tomorrow, but it's not because you pray. It's because I can it can take 10 years, even more, before you do it. Yeah, that's how God is. So you've got to be patient. Right now, we're
my dog, man. That's such a bad. I'm trying to counsel one my dad. You don't spend it, but it's something you register. Sure, this is your standard. Sure, fair, yes. I'm a spirit.
Yeah, that was the boss. Because I know his real name, but I'm no longer sure of. But I think it's Kosa.
But of course, my cousin was a boss in a block, he was hot. Always kept it cocked, kept the clock by his crotch. Made a lot of guap for the rock he would stock. If you spot the cup, tuck the pot in your sock. Cop the drop top, cherries tops they would drop. Spinning in a box and it cost him a lot. Was tryna live soft at the top in a loft. Was about to lift off when he got shot by an op.
But of course, my brother was the boss in the block, he was hot. He used to keep a Glock by his crotch, and it was cocked. I don't know why you'd keep a gun in your crotch when it's cocked, like it's, but yeah, he would keep a Glock by his crotch, and he made a lot of guap from the rock that he would stock. So I'm assuming he's talking about drugs there, that he used to stock a lot of drugs. And yeah, he used to spin in a box, and it cost him a lot. So a box, I think he's talking about a 325. Yeah, I think that's what they call a box in the township. And when you see the cops come, you have to stash that rock in your sock, basically, type of a thing. And he tried to live soft at the top in a loft, and a loft is an apartment. So the whole rhyme scheme of him staying in that pocket is pretty crazy, while he's actually telling you a consistent story. And eventually, when he was living soft, he got shot by an op, which is probably a competition, someone who was in competition with. Because when you're in that industry of, selling drugs and stuff, there's always someone who wants to take you out and take your spot, type of a thing. But the way he said that consistently within the rhyme, like the same rhyme scheme pattern, it's pretty ugly for you.
Soft at the top in a loft. Was about to lift off when he got shot by an op. A different world but the same hell. My other cousin cousin in and out of a jail cell. He got my aunties thinking they failed. Lot of my uncles dipped in they bail. Cuz didn't make bail. Spill it in a bata chill it. Kari rekere, dripping like a spetale. Yedi keleme, skama melody meneme. Lebo veleve, no baba jaga belepe, no wabegeze.
There is a problem. So he talks about another cousin as well, who was in and out of a jail cell. You know, his auntie thought that, you know, they failed him as a child. I mean, every parent, if your child is in and out of jail, you feel like you failed, you know. And the uncles who never stayed, you know, they dipped and they bailed. You know, while he was in jail, he never made bail as well sometimes, you know. So that whole commotion in that situation, you know, Speleta was a problem, you know. Nabaka chelet, he wanted money, kadi rekere, which is money bands, you know. But yeah, Nababa Chakapelepe, you know, he was hot like pepper, but now Wabegezel. Now it's just, you know, things are not coming together like that. So dope story, man. Dope stories, you know.
No wabegeze. It's a 2.7 liter. Tryna make the meter, let my cheetah for my cruiser. Lebo mama sita ba, prega hake chiga. Kata like a spinangara, start the almami. MIE 30, it's a 2.7 liter. Tryna make the meter with my cheetahs for my cruiser. Lebo mama sita ba, prega hake chiga. Kata like a spinangara, start the almami. Pototo, pototo, pototo. Pototo, pototo, pototo. Pototo, pototo, pototo. Emma pototo, pototo, pototo. Pototo, pototo, pototo. Pototo, pototo, pototo. Pototo, pototo, pototo. Emma pototo, pototo, pototo. Pretty ugly, Bessie Pila got me sing up in these sunny streets.
Yeah, you see, here it makes sense. When you were trying to have me doing it,
Yo, man, that's a very dope song right there, man. 30 Minutes to Soweto is, I mean, it just shows what Priddy Ugly can do, you know. And I think we already know that at this point, you know, that when it comes to his pen game, man, the dude is flawless, you know. So dope track there. Now, the last part, which is the Botsotso song, is also a dope song, right? But I'm not too sure about going from like a boom bap beat to, you know, that Botsotso sound. For me, like, to have those two songs in the same project, it's kind of okay. I feel like I'll just reserve my comment for, you know, if I do decide to review, you know, the EP called Mud by Priddy Ugly, then I'll just, you know, share my thoughts on that. And I mean, the album has only been out for like 2 weeks, so it's still too soon to tell, you know. I still need to digest it properly. But yeah, I think I'll speak more on that and the direction of where I think Pretty Ugly is trying to go with the music thing. But yeah, man, until then, I think that's the end of this video. And yeah, man, you know what it is. Take care of your mental, and peace, love. I'm out of here.